welcome to my second vlog for the Nevermore Readathon. This vlog covers days 4 through 7. And as I was just going back to edit and look at this video, I realized that I did not actually check in on days 4 or 5, but I do have some B-roll footage from those days. And so day 4 was Monday and day 5 was Tuesday. Mondays are very busy for me as that's my day to plan for the classes that I teach. It's my day to plan content for my YouTube channel, for Instagram, those kinds of things. And I was also working on a presentation that I'll be doing upcoming in March. So you'll see some of that. You'll also see some everyday life because the first vlog I did for this was on the weekend. So I was out and about quite a bit. But this is more of a peek at what I do during the week. Things like cooking dinner, which I have some clips of that too. On Tuesday, I taught one class, a mythology class, and then on Wednesday, I taught a poetry class. So you'll see some B-roll of my working on those classes. Other than that, you'll get to hear my thoughts on the purloined letter and the murders in the Rue Morgue. Brain blank. I'm going to blame that on menopause, which I did find out this week officially that I am in menopause. So anytime I can't speak, flub up my words, forget what I'm trying to say, I'm just going to blame it on menopause. So with all that being said, that's macabre enough talk on its own. I am going to throw it back to the past so we can get into the more exciting, macabre, and gothic world of Edgar Allan Poe. Hey, it is Wednesday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, day 6 of the Nevermore Readathon. I'm checking in from a different spot today. I'm in my comfy recliner, so I apologize if the lighting is not the best or if you can hear my ceiling fan in the background, but I didn't check in at all yesterday, so I wanted to make sure that I checked in today. Yesterday, I read The Murders in the Rue Morgue by Edgar Allan Poe. And I just finished a few moments ago reading The Purloined Letter, also, of course, by Edgar Allan Poe, for the Nevermore Readathon. And as I mentioned I believe it was in my Nevermore TBR and recommendations video, that this readathon was going to be the first time that I read Poe's detective fiction. I've been a Poe fan since I was in middle school, but I have read his more gothic, his more macabre stories, and his poetry. This was my first time diving into his detective fiction, and I liked it okay. I'm not a big detective fiction kind of person, so I most definitely prefer Poe's more gothic tales, but I did appreciate the way that he really pioneered that mystery genre, and I can definitely trace back from the few detective and kind of mystery novels that I've read, like Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Agatha Christie. I can definitely see how Poe influenced them. So I won't really spend a lot of time going through the details of either the Murders in the Rue Morgue. Why can I not talk today? And the Purloined Letter. But I will just say that I did enjoy them. They were entertaining, but I definitely prefer, as I mentioned before, Poe's more gothic stories like The Fall of the House of Usher and The Mask of the Red Death and The Telltale Heart and The Black Cat. And those are the two that we'll be discussing, The Telltale Heart and The Black Cat. I'll be on Kat's channel live to discuss that tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So join us. Other than that, today I've been kind of highlighting important aspects, or I hope it's all important, right? But I've been working on highlighting some different parts of my thesis because I've been asked to be a presenter at the PCA National Conference in Chicago in March. And so I have 15 minutes to do a presentation on a thesis that's like this thick. So I'm trying not to highlight too much, but I'm trying to get to the points that I really want to make sure that I bring out during this presentation. And so that's what I'm working on today. I taught one class today on OutSchool. Today I taught a poetry class, and we looked at the poetry of Letitia Elizabeth Landon, who is often called the female Lord Byron. So she was a romantic poet, and she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. Yesterday I taught a high school mythology class, and we talked yesterday about stories of the early heroes and then some myths about lovers. So that's been keeping me pretty busy the past few days working on those things. I'm trying to think. I don't think I really have anything else to update you on right now. So I will go. Hello. I am checking back in pretty soon after the last check-in. Since that time, I've gotten a shower, and while I was in the shower, I started thinking about how I had done a disservice to viewers by not giving synopses for the Murders in the Rue Morgue and the Purloined Letter. Sorry, I had to get my coffee, but I wanted to come back on and remedy that right now. So in the Murders in the Rue Morgue, we are following an unnamed narrator, which is a common occurrence when we are reading works by Poe. Well, this unnamed narrator has a friend by the name of C. Auguste Dupin, and they are made aware of this horrific crime that has been committed nearby. A woman and her daughter were brutally murdered, and the police can't seem to solve the case. There doesn't appear to be any sign of forced entry. You have a lot of witnesses who claim they heard a person from this country speaking, and other witnesses who say, no, it wasn't a person from this country, it was a person from this country. And the police are really just baffled. And through analytical reason, C. Auguste Dupin is able to decipher who the culprit is. And I will say, when you find out who the murderer is in the Murders in the Rue Morgue, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. So, as I said in the previous clip, while I don't enjoy these detective stories as much as I enjoy his gothic stories, I still definitely appreciate everything that Poe did. As I talked about in the last clip too, you can certainly see C. Auguste Dupin as an archetype and a pro, I'm trying to think of the word, I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but he's an archetype, and he kind of paves the way for Hercule. I hope I'm saying this right. Hercule Poirot. Why can I not talk today, y'all? I need more coffee. In Agatha Christie's works, and Sherlock Holmes in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's works. What's happening to my mouth? And then the other story that I read is the Purloined Letter, and it references at the beginning the events of the Murders in the Rue Morgue. So I would recommend, if you're going to read the two, that you start with the Murders in the Rue Morgue and then read the Purloined Letter. So the Purloined Letter is interesting because there's not a crime of violence that happens. And also in the purloined letter, the culprit is well known. They know who committed the crime. But the problem is the crime that was committed, they cannot find the proof that they need that this person indeed committed the crime. So once again, we have our unnamed narrator and C. August Dupin to the rescue. And by the end of the story, the evidence has been found, and C. August Dupin has done a little thing himself to kind of twist it a little bit more for the guilty party, that he knows that that person is guilty, and he kind of slips in a little something to kind of say, sort of like in your face, ha ha ha. So that is my synopsis of the Murders in the Rue Morgue and the Purloined Letter. Tomorrow, I'm going to be rereading some of my favorite Poe poems, and I would like to come on and do a poetry reading for you if I can get my voice to work and my brain to go like it's supposed to. Anyway, have a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you at the live show. Bye. The Sleeper by Edgar Allan Poe. At midnight in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opiate vapor, dewy, dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping, drop by drop, upon the quiet mountain top, steals drowsily and musically into the universal valley. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lily lolls upon the wave, wrapping the fog about its breast. The ruin moulders into rest. Looking like Lethe, see, the lake a conscious slumber seems to take, and would not for the world awake. All beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies Irene with her destinies. O lady bright, can it be right, this window open to the night? The wanton airs from the tree top laughingly through the lattice drop. The bodiless airs a wizard rout flit through thy chamber in and out, and wave the curtain canopy so fitfully, so fearfully, above the closed and fringed lid, 'neath which thy slumbering soul lies hid, that o'er the floor and down the wall, like ghosts the shadows rise and fall. O lady dear, hast thou no fear? Why and what art thou dreaming here? Sure thou art come o'er far off seas, a wonder to these garden trees. Strange is thy pallor, strange thy dress, strange above all thy length of tress, and this all solemn silentness. The lady sleeps, oh may her sleep, which is enduring, so be deep. Heaven have her in its sacred keep, this chamber changed for one more holy, this bed for one more melancholy. I pray to God that she may lie for ever with unopened eye, while the pale sheeted ghosts go by. My love, she sleeps, so may her sleep, as it is lasting, so be deep. Soft may the worms about her creep, far in the forest, dim and old. For her may some tall vault unfold, some vault that oft hath flung its black and winged panels fluttering back, triumphant o'er the crested palls of her grand family funerals. Some sepulchre remote, alone, against whose portal she hath thrown in childhood many an idle stone, some tomb from out whose sounding door she ne'er shall force an echo more. Thrilling to think, poor child of sin, it was the dead who groaned within. I hope you enjoyed that reading of Edgar Allan Poe's The Sleeper. There is one point that I want to discuss about this poem, and that is this idea of liminal space. I mentioned that previously. I cannot remember if it was in the first vlog or if it was in this one, but I talked about how midnight is prominent in a lot of Edgar Allan Poe's writings. And I talked about midnight being this liminal space, right, where you're between one day and the next. So it's this passing over. And he opens The Sleeper with that liminal space, that reference to midnight, because the first line reads, "At midnight in the month of June." Now, something else interesting in that first line, too, in addition to that liminal space of midnight, we also have a liminal space when he writes about June, because June is the month during which the summer solstice takes place. So that's also considered a liminal time because you're passing from one season into the next. And folkloric belief is that during these times of liminal seasons or shifting time periods, that the world of the dead is more active. And this is very interesting too in this poem because this is also a poem about that space between wakefulness and sleep, right? Which is another example of liminal space. Because when we're kind of in that zone, right, we're not exactly completely awake, we're not completely asleep. And then we think too about how dreams take place during those times. And so, again, we're seeing this connection to this kind of folkloric superstition about more activity being prominent during liminal times as far as supernatural entities are concerned. Then we also have in this poem too, because he speaks, of course, about the worms and about his love never opening her eyes again. So we've also got this transitional phase from life into death. And one of the things that Poe felt very passionately about was something called the unity of effect, where he believed that he would start. I'm trying to break this down. He would start with an ending in mind, and he would make sure that everything in his story or poem drew the reader toward that ending, that there was a unity, right? There was a unity from the beginning to the end. So when we think about that in the context of how he opens this poem with "at midnight in the month of June," then we have an example there that he's going to be conveying to us throughout this poem, The Sleeper, this idea of liminal space and liminal time. So this is just one of the reasons why The Sleeper is one of my favorites by Poe. And I feel like it's one that often gets lost in the shuffle with the more popular, but obviously wonderful, The Raven and Annabel Lee. But I wanted to make sure that everyone at least had a chance to read The Sleeper. I would love to know what your favorite Poe poem is, so you can let me know down in the comments below. I am getting so excited to join Kat from Kat's Novel Adventures for our live discussion that's going to take place tonight, which is Thursday. I don't even think I checked in. Maybe I did. I can't remember. My memory is not the best. But this is day 7 of the Nevermore Readathon. It's the last day, Thursday, January 25th. I'll be joining Kat on her channel at 6:30 p.m. tonight to discuss Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat and the Telltale Heart. So if you did not get a chance to catch that live show, I will be linking it down in the description box below so you can go back and watch the replay. And then we would love for you to continue to interact with our discussion. Continue to interact with me on this channel. Let me know. Would you like to see more Poe? What are you interested in particular about Poe? Or do you just want to do all the Poe that we possibly can? It is with heavy heart that Poe and I must inform you. The Nevermore Readathon concluded last night. But don't be too sad. Poe is here all year. And if you would like more Poe content on my channel, please let me know. Are you more interested in his gothic short stories or his poems or his detective fiction? Just let me know. I will be happy to continue to talk Poe with you. I want to give a huge shout out to Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures for organizing this amazing Nevermore Readathon to celebrate the life and works of Edgar Allan Poe. And if you did not get a chance to catch the live show last night, I will have that linked down in the description box below. Kat and I discussed the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat, and we had some wonderful comments from those who joined in, and I really appreciate everyone who got a chance to come on live. But if you didn't, please go back and watch. If you want to see more Poe content, let me know, because I'm always happy to do Poe. Let me know if you would like more about his poems, his short stories, his detective fiction. I can talk about all Poe things at any time. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, then hit subscribe. Share this with anyone else who may be interested in reading and talking about Poe. And I appreciate every one of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day or night. Bye.